To our audience, good morning, everyone. Today I'm with Victor. And, Victor, I kind of want to like dive straight into things and, just tell us about your journey
Mm.
going into SEO. What is SEO for people who don't actually even know what that is?
Yeah, so SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. I actually gave a presentation about this yesterday online to this committee.
Oh,
But
perfect.
so it's not, yeah, so essentially, let's say you're looking for like a barber. So you search up barbers in Hawaii on Google. So what Google outputs is like a list of 100 websites, and that's 100 businesses. But the thing is that as customers, we don't, I don't remember the last time I went down to page two. We really only look at like the top 1 to 5 of the
Right.
businesses. So SEO, search engine optimization, is getting websites and businesses to show up on the first 1 to 5, so customers can actually find those barbers.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And what kind of got you initially interested in the field?
Yeah, so I was coding. I was The plan was to study software engineering, computer science in college, and get like a job at like Google or Netflix. But I was reading a lot of books about entrepreneurship, and I knew that if I wanted to make money, like a lot of money, then
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
own a business. And I could see how I could own a business with web design versus just like computer science. So that's why I went towards web design, and eventually that branched to other digital marketing services, and that became mainly web design and SEO.
That's super huge. Yeah, and I remember you telling me, you actually left college to pursue web design before diving into SEO, right? But what led you to that decision of, just dropping out and,
Mhm.
craving your own path?
Yeah, so I ended up I was at UH Manoa for a semester, and I ended up going to Leeward to finish the associates because the bachelor's at UH Manoa was taking a lot of time,
Mm,
and it was more of a philosophical approach for me because I was thinking to myself, I only live one life. I'm in college, and what I was learning, I found that it wasn't practical.
hmm.
So the plan was that I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn something. So
Yeah.
I want to learn by going to these networking events, talking to people, learning how to sell. I want to learn by actually creating websites. I want to learn how to give a service because I didn't want to learn how to write theoretical code I'm not going to use in college. I'd rather
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
practical things. So that's why I decided to drop out. But then it was like, okay, how am I going to get a job? So I was just thinking about like website design jobs, trying to get jobs there.
Mm.
I was also in right before Adrian, I was cleaning solar panels.
Oh,
So
right. Yeah, yeah.
plan B was to just clean a lot of solar panels because I think being paid pretty well. And then if I
Yeah,
really didn't
yeah.
like it, then I worked my way out of it. But
Mm.
I just felt like because with the entrepreneurship mindset that college wasn't gonna be the route, like a diploma wasn't be the route that I was gonna make my money.
Right, right. Yeah, that's super huge. Did you receive almost any backlash from like your friends and family, like almost like
Yeah.
judgment for like the decision
Uh,
that you're making?
yeah, yeah. Like there's actually a bit of judgment from people that are very college centered. I
Uh-huh.
remember one time I was talking to his friend, um, and then it was like pretty early on in the journey, and I was like, yeah, like I might just like clean solar panels, because in my head it was like I can probably clean solar panels for like 100K a year, right? And
Right.
like maybe in 4 to 5 years I can hire people, and I don't
Uh-huh.
even need to do it anymore. But then they're like, oh, what if you like get older and like you can't clean the solar panels? And I have to like explain to them like the whole hire, like, because they don't understand like when you have a business you just hire people under you.
Right,
And
right.
then it goes into like, oh, but you're just like cleaning solar panels, like that's kind of like boring.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
because
yeah.
they want like the I feel like the academic route. They're trying to, I guess they're like doing something different, like oh, I want to like
Yeah.
solve cancer. Like I want to like
Yeah, they want
save
glory,
people's
yeah.
lives. But I think as business owners, we're playing like the the money game, and I think most importantly the personal development game.
Hmm.
Because business is a lot about personal development and just becoming
Right.
the best version of us through our business.
Yeah.
So that's sort of some judgment I received from friends, just that sort of like um sort of like, oh, that's not really meaningful work. Like, why do you want to do
Hmm.
that? And that's like a whole nother conversation we can delve into
Yeah,
moving
yeah,
forward.
yeah. That's actually super
Um,
huge. Yeah.
yeah, and then parents, they're probably not gonna see this, but like I just kept like super low key. Like I just didn't really tell them or anything. Like, 'cause I had to go to Lever to get an associates. So they're like, oh, he's probably gonna get like an associates and go back to school. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll go back to school like after my associates.
Right.
But it was just trying to make my business work on the down low the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm working on college work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's dive into like the actual business itself. What was it like, as a young
Uh,
entrepreneur, how was it, trying to launch your business and, get it off the ground?
yeah, so definitely investing money into your business before your business is profitable and figuring out like how much money you want to put into it.
Hmm.
Um, definitely a lot. It's a test on yourself because it's like how much work you're trying to put in and how focused you can be day in, day out. And it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. So you definitely need to know how to push through. And it's definitely more lonelier than school.
Oh yeah, that's no
Yeah,
doubt. Yeah.
yeah. Because school, you have everyone like taking the same tests, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's why it's great you create this community agent. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
school, you
yeah.
have everyone taking these tests, everyone like doing the same homework. But in entrepreneurship, everyone normally has like a different business.
Hmm.
Um, and even when you have the same business, to have a business, you really gotta focus in and like you really just gotta be alone and just like focus in and do the work by yourself anyways.
Hmm. Yeah.
That keeps it more like a lone
Oh
wolf
yeah.
journey sometimes.
Yeah, right. I feel like you practically make your own curriculum, right? Like I kind of
Yeah,
see it
yeah,
as the
yeah.
way of like, technically I'm in college because, I still live with my parents, but I'm making this business. So therefore I'm like literally taking classes in sales and, all this stuff. And I'm teaching myself all of these things, which I think is, the biggest thing when you're taking the entrepreneurial journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But, what are the types of clients that you usually work with? And, how do you usually customize your services towards them?
Mhm. Yeah, so I can list a few of my clients. So I worked with someone that sells window shades for windows. Worked with a window installer, permanent makeup studio. They do like eyebrows, photographers, uh, landscapers, and those were for SEO services, and some of them were website designs too. But it's essentially service-based businesses, so they provide services, businesses that provide services for the customers,
Hmm.
and local service-based businesses. That's the services. I mean, that's the clients that I normally provide for. And then the second question was, how do I package? I
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have set packages. So like for SEO, certain amount of deliverables is this much per month. If you want more deliverables, then it's more expensive. And I price it that way. But I try to keep it as customizable as possible and to give them something that it just customizes them and what they need. So like the packages are more like templates. So I
Oh,
can
I see.
save time and not always like need to spend so much time creating custom ones. So I base off the package first, and there's like small things I can add to make sure that they get like the best deal and the
Right.
best package for what they need. Then I'll add that in.
Mm, I see. Are there like certain needs that come up often in your client base, like something that's pretty
Mm,
universal?
mm. Certain needs. I mean, they all need marketing, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why they
yeah.
come to me. Um,
Yeah.
certain needs.
Like something like super specific that comes up all the time?
Uh-huh. Well, businesses really need everything. It's just a matter of like when you
Mm,
need
that
it.
makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, like ads, like running ads. Businesses shouldn't be running ads when they first start off if they have no capital, because they need to have a proof of concept first that people actually want the product. So
Right.
you start with like going to investing your money into, like, sometimes you have to pay for networking events, so paying for that, and then doing ads. So then when you ask like what a business needs, like they really just need everything. It's more of a question of like when when do they need to stay?
Right, right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And me personally, I'm not I don't really keep up too much with the developments with SEO, but are there
Mm.
any like constant changes that come up over time where that you kind of need to just adapt to it?
Yeah, SEO is a bit troublesome, and that like every quarter Google does an update
Mm,
on their search algorithm, and then you have to keep up with that. But the thing about SEO is that ultimately what Google is trying to do is just promote the best websites. So as long as you keep that philosophy, just creating like a great website and creating great content for the people, the users of your website, then you'll be fine. But SEO is it's important to know that SEO has like quarterly updates. Google does quarterly updates, so that's something you need to keep track of.
right, right. Are there any like general resources or strategies that kind of help you stay ahead in that sense?
Yeah, um, YouTube Academy is good, but it's always the YouTubers that like they don't have that much subscribers,
I see, I see. Kind of like the
and
underground
because
guys who just know all the secrets.
it's like hella niche. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like the very general, like a lot of views SEO videos on YouTube, like they don't really like tell you the things that move the needle for SEO.
Hmm.
Um, but for SEO, it's very niche YouTubers. Normally, it's like YouTubers that do case studies, so you can like examine the case studies. I'm in an SEO community too, so we talk about like certain trends and case studies too, and um, just ranking my own websites to get an experience that way. But the best
Mm,
way to just get ahead in SEO is just get like your hands dirty and to actually do it and just learn from it.
right, right. Kind of just like anything else when it comes to
Yeah,
getting better and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah.
that's super huge. For those looking to get into SEO, what are like SEO basics that you would recommend to someone just starting out?
Mhm. I mean, you can get a general overview, like searching up. Um, I know Href, Ahref, is a good channel to just look at the basics. But then once you have the basics, then you obviously just have to try it out, and then you have to just see what actually like works. Like you have to get a website and then see what actually makes it increase in rankings, and then just reiterate upon it from there. I wish if I had a course I could like plug it in right now. So like I
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
like,
That would be
but
huge.
so yeah. So
Yeah,
like
we talked about that before.
or like just like something like I didn't create like a document with all of the information, so I just had to like kind of maybe I could send you some links maybe
Yeah, that'd be
after
sick.
and
And
you
I could just like,
plug it in.
yeah,
Yeah,
plug
yeah,
it
yeah.
anywhere.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you can just look on YouTube, look at general videos. But then, as I said before, like you're you're really only going to find the best learning experiences from like seeing what makes websites go up, and then seeing
Right.
what makes them go down too.
Hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. That's super huge. And what do you think are like kind of the biggest misunderstandings people have about SEO and, even
Mhm.
marketing as a whole? Because you're basically in the marketing industry, right?
Yeah. I think um, people have to understand that sometimes marketing um, might not work. Like a certain marketing strategy might not work for your type
Mm,
of business.
right.
So, like, I'm giving someone, I think I'm paying him like 750 a month for like 3 months to run social media ads. And I'm going into it like, okay, maybe like this is not gonna work at all. And like, but I'm spending that seven, it's like 225 to 2,250 to see if it's worth pursuing.
Right.
And that's something that people have to take into account into marketing. I think a lot of people think like, oh, if I put in like 1K, I need to get it back in the first month. Or
Ah, I
maybe
see, I see.
no, but sometimes you need to have more of the long game. Like another example is like LinkedIn. I might pay
Hmm.
someone to help me with LinkedIn. They're like, okay, we charge like 1K a month.
Right.
Going into it, it's like, okay, I'll try like 1K for 1 month, see how it is. Maybe put in like 1K for 2 more months, see how it is. So it's more of like a you definitely have to be realistic on a timeline and
Right.
just be
Right.
educated by the expert too about how long marketing might take. Yeah, because a lot of people think it's just like a instant system, but marketing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a system you have to build out too, and
Hmm.
it's a machine you have to build out.
Hmm. Yeah, it's super huge. And, kind of going back to like, people see like thinking that, oh, it'll work immediately. How do you help your clients see the real
Mhm.
value in it if, there's clearly some people who feel that way about it?
Yeah, like most people, the minimum timeline is like, oh, like I want to make it work in like a month.
Right.
Um, but then you have to like reset that expectation. It's great when clients like are like, yeah, I'm like down for 6 months. Like I know this might take time when they already
Yeah.
have the expectations set. But the best way to set it is because I have case studies where it takes like 3 to 6 months,
Right.
and they're like, okay, like I just need to invest 3 to 6 months. So just having the
Yeah.
actual case studies is how you can set the expectation as
Yeah.
well.
That's actually a super solid strategy. Just providing the data, like this isn't coming
Yeah,
from me.
yeah,
This is coming from an actual expert who
yeah,
does
yeah.
study this type of thing. So yeah, that's super huge. And kind of like doing some reflection, looking back. How do you feel about your decision when you dropped out and decided to pursue the development of your business?
Mhm. Definitely a lot of emotions. I mean, I remember it was October of 2023, and I was making like no money from my business,
Yeah.
and I was already a year in deep, almost a year in deep. And then you just have those thoughts like, oh, like maybe I should have went back to college. Maybe I should have stayed.
Yeah.
Um, but then obviously, like if you stick to the game long enough, you'll figure it out.
Hmm.
If you're perspicacious enough and you're logical enough about it. But overall, I can't really imagine any other way for it to have worked out with like what I wanted to learn and how college wasn't providing me the education. Um, I'm content with how it all worked out. And yeah, I couldn't imagine myself going back to school right now because school or the college system doesn't teach SEO or like website
Yeah.
design. So really just it's more about like elevating your knowledge. So for me to learn more would be to go to like SEO seminars.
Right.
So from the aspect of like what's the best way to, just learn, just like learn more. It made total sense for me not to continue college.
Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of like the practicality of it as well. Like
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
you relate it to your situation. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
super huge. Let's kind of go on to like the bright side, of the
Oh yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what's been the most rewarding part of building your own business?
Yeah, you meet a lot of people. It's also great too because you realize that everyone's just a friend. Like even when they're like 40 or 50, they're all friends
Mhm.
and we're all just trying to provide value for each other with our business. And it's a great way too because with the business mindset and with how money works and you're not really on a salary either, I feel like it it allows me to well, I can donate now. I don't know if I would be like donating money if I had a salary, or maybe not as
I
early,
see. I see.
because just like how I split up my money and how volatile my money is and how I can control it. It's because business teaches you like you can't really have a scarce mindset about money. So that
Right.
allows me to be more give more money away, and
Yeah, more generous
just
and
like
stuff.
just like to friends and like
Mhm.
family.
Yeah,
Um
that's a really huge. Oh, sorry. Did you have anything else to add?
no, yeah, so overall business is great. How that affects me great in that sense.
Yeah, it's super huge. Are there, when you say, do you have any like specific, huge moments or achievements that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah. I remember in August I closed 10K in revenue
Wow, that's crazy.
in like a 30-day span. Like I closed 10K. I was like, damn, this is like lit. But that was like, I was like, let's freaking go. But that was like for a week. And then after that, it just kind of baselines. And
Yeah,
then from that you kind of realize, because when people say like it's about the journey, man, it's not about the destination. It's I remember when people would tell that to me, I would clown that comes down like every call. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I kind of care about the destination a bit more right now. But like after that whole like 10K thing where I got 10K and like I was like stoked for a week, and after that I started baseline. I actually got like a little below baseline too, because after such a high after working for that for so long, you realize that it is about the journey and about the things you do every day that matters a lot more than that very short high you're gonna get once you hit that goal.
yeah, that's a super great point that you actually bring up. I feel like people think that in order to become super successful, you have to do one really big thing, but like you said, it's the small things that add up to like those big achievements, right?
Yeah.
And for others thinking about pursuing entrepreneurship outside of, that college path, do you have any advice for them moving forward?
I would say that you should probably join Adrian's community.
Like that, yeah.
Not just because I'm friends with Adrian.
That's
Like it's like I don't think you guys, or if you haven't done the entrepreneurship path, it's very, very lonely. Because the thing is you're not really meant to talk to people that much. Because
Mhm.
like me and Adrian are talking now, but like the last time, when was the last time we talked to Adrian?
It was literally like
Like 1 to 2 weeks
two.
ago, almost two.
Yeah,
I think it was 2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah. It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks. Yeah,
So I
yeah. It was
have,
the beach thing. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, when you're like having a business, it's important to build a strong base of people there for you, because you're gonna be pursuing this business thing for a long time. And like another point of advice is that a lot of people have a very short timeline and like how long it might take to work. And honestly, like a year might be too short. I think you have to go in. Well, so speaking for me personally, I was going in like it might take 10 years.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for my business at least to work out, like I'll have a job, like a job in like website design or SEO. And then maybe it might take to like I'm 30 where I'm making 10K a month off of my business. And 10K a month is a lot of money, right? So then like working with that type of work ethic for pretty much as long as you can, because really it's just time will be the question eventually. You have a goal, it's gonna be the time. So I'd say you have to extend your time horizon on how long business might take to work out, and build a strong foundation of people. And lastly, it's important to get a mentor, or definitely someone ahead of you in the industry you're trying to pursue. Because if they can do it, you can do it. So when you're able to see what they're doing and copy them that way, that's going to help immensely too.
Yeah, that's actually a super great point. I'm gonna plug the community real quick because like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the whole idea of this thing, right, is to, surround like learners with people who are ahead of them already doing the things that they want to do, and allow like mentors and stuff to kind of also give back to the community and surround themselves with other like-minded people. And I think that's a super great point. It's like the idea that you don't have to feel alone in this, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. But are there any key skills or habits that you would suggest developing early on? Like what helped you and what worked for you?
Mhm. I'd say I had to learn how to focus a lot more and study the concept of deep work and how to do, because back then I would maybe do an hour of work and then I would end up scrolling Instagram for like 2 hours. So I had to establish a sort of focus and get into a flow of like 2 hours of work, 30-minute break, 2 hours of work, 30-minute break, just to get that work done. So that's something I had to improve on um, going into business. And
Yeah.
also thinking more optimistically as well. I think I'm naturally pessimistic. Are you naturally pessimistic too? Or
Um, I think honestly, I used to be, but I think that something switched in my head that,
uh,
you know, I would rather be rich or die trying. And I
mm,
think with that type of mindset, it just allowed me to just like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever works and I'm just gonna keep grinding at this thing
yeah, yeah, yeah,
regardless. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean there's always gonna be those days, where dude, I just I didn't make any sales today,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
everybody, they said no, and I think there's like that reminder that okay, I could either let this beat me down or I can learn, okay, what made them say no and how do I get them to start saying yes?
yeah, yeah. Rich
Right.
or die trying is definitely very important. It does have to be that extreme because certain days you're like, bro, like I'm gonna try for the rest of my life, and you need that type
Yeah,
of motivation to keep going.
yeah. Yeah, it's super like I think I always tell my very smart friends this, like if you want to pursue something like this, you have to be a little crazy, a little
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit delusional to believe that it will happen, right?
yeah.
You
I
know,
agree. I
I
agree.
yeah, like and I think that, for me personally, I wouldn't consider myself a super book smart person. So I feel like it's a little
Mm,
easier for me to like convince myself that it will happen. But I think
mm,
a lot of other people they get super like analysis paralysis with it, right?
mm.
They start
Yeah,
analyzing it so hard that they can't like wrap their mind around like why should I even do this? you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that just goes into like I think anything is possible. We go into like mindset and how to really shape your mind into making it possible. But yeah, like most people think it's crazy, and it is crazy in a sense because it's not the norm. And then crazy is not the norm, right?
Right.
Yeah. But it is possible. And just when you see people that done it, they're just a testament to it. And if someone else can do it, then you can do it too.
Yeah, that's 100%. What's one thing that you wish you knew when you were starting out? Like, did you make any mistakes or lessons that stood out to you?
Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, I didn't track my leads.
Mm.
Um, so you can't build a system if you don't know like which leads are coming in and which you can close.
Yeah.
So that was an obvious one. but for some reason I didn't do it. So make sure to track your leads that come in. Another one is that assuming, like understanding what closing a deal is. It's not closed until the money's in your account and they give you the money. I remember back then, like there was a customer that I was like, yeah, I'm like super down for this. And it was like a 2K job or something. And I was like, nice, like I made 2K this month. And I was spending money, like 2K was gonna come into my bank account. But then he was like, oh yeah, like I don't think so anymore. But he was like so confident, like coming in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
understanding that it's not closed until yeah, he gives you the money. Like like I had a client call last week and then you're like, yeah, like we're going to go through this SEO package, it's like 1,500 a month. And they were super confident. Like from my past experiences, like they could just like oh, never mind.
yeah,
So understanding that just because someone says that they want to go through your services, it's not true until, they actually go through with it.
right, right. And I think that kind of ties into, like keep putting that effort in until the job is done.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I know your line of work is like super technical. So
Mhm.
how have you kind of adjusted to learning the other aspects of business, like your own sales skills and all that other
Mhm.
stuff?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, sales is providing value. And a great example is there's this TikToker, and do you know the TikToker that he gives people in New York gold?
I think I
There's
might
that,
have seen one TikTok of that.
yeah. So there's this TikTok of this gold guy, and he goes around New York, like giving random people gold, and it's like probably like $500 or $300. Like here,
What?
take this. But if some people don't take it, but he's
Yeah,
literally handing out free money, and that's the same mindset what you had to have when you're selling
right.
and when you're giving a product. Because that guy isn't doing anything wrong. He's literally giving out free money. And it
Yeah,
should be the same for when you're selling. You're trying to give, he's just trying to help people.
yeah.
Um, so that's something I've learned in sales. And yeah, overall, that's what makes business hard too, because you have to learn the technical part of doing the job and
Hmm.
also sales and marketing as well, so your business can grow.
Yeah, that's definitely huge, like definitely making that switch. And I think it wasn't a very long period for me, but I was like thinking about, okay, how do I get this money? How do I get this money? But I
Mm,
think the real question that should be asked is how do I provide value to all these people, right?
yeah, yeah.
Almost that giver's gain, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, if you look at how money is made, the amount of money you make is proportional to the value you provide. Like, there's a reason why Elon Musk is he still the richest man on the world?
I think he is. I
Yeah.
think he is.
But
Yeah.
anyways, he has like a ton of money, and
Yeah.
it's because of SpaceX. Because no one else has made rockets that reusable rockets. So you're gonna make a lot of money if if people need reusable rockets. And it's like Amazon. Like people needed the service, everyone needed that service, and then he made it. So it just the amount of money makes proportionate to the value provided for other people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Is there any other, mindset switches that you had to kind of flick on for yourself,
Mhm.
like in this whole process?
Definitely the idea that anything is possible, and it can get really extreme. I mean, we can just think back to, let's say, Egypt. Like imagine we're like Egyptians, and then someone tells us like, yeah, in the future, like we're gonna have like cell phones and like we can like talk to each other.
Yeah.
And that's really crazy, right? Like just imagine the idea, like because I just before like even like the idea that Bluetooth, the idea of Bluetooth. Like, how does someone come up with the idea of Bluetooth? You know, back then, like, we can
Yeah.
communicate through empty space. And that just brings up the idea of like what, like right now, what is in our world that we don't know of, which can probably happen in the future. Like in that case, you know, like teleportation is probably going to happen, you know. I don't know how. And then that just goes into the mindset of like, yeah, anything is possible. And understanding that you're not a victim. Because I think a lot of people
Yeah.
have an idea of like, yeah, I'm in this world. I can't really control it. This is how things are. But I found that there's two sides. There's that victim side, and there's a more of like, wow, the world's so giving. I can do anything I want. The world's so abundant. Because I've been on both sides.
Right, right.
Um, and then, yeah, realizing that you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it, and it gets into like manifestation and those type of things. So before I wasn't so into honestly into like manifestation, those type of things.
Hmm.
But really like just thinking something in your head first and materializing it into your world. I've done it many times before.
Yeah.
So that's a mindset shift I've had.
Yeah. That actually does bring a pretty great point. And yeah, I think that kind of relates to almost like an obsession, right? Like in order to make
Yeah.
something a reality, you kind of have to have an obsession about it in order to, you know, do the activities every single day to make it real,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and you know, you brought up a good point, like that victim versus actually taking responsibility. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yeah, not a lot of people actually are doing that, right? You know,
Mm.
they're reacting towards things as the days go, but they don't realize that, you know, they're responsible for how they react and how they move forward with their life, regardless of how difficult it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally get it. Like it's hard. It gets hard sometimes. But with the right mindset, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. That's huge. You know, yeah, I think we're gonna close this real quick. I'm out of questions, but you know, thank you, Victor, for you know, I think there's a lot of gems in there that a lot of people need to hear, especially people who want to get started out in this realm of entrepreneurship. But really quickly, do you have a business Instagram, a business contact, or anything? I think we have some business owners who, you know, might be interested in, you know, some of your services now or in the future. You know, is there anything that we could plug in for you?
Yeah, just a quick plug. Just search up Malama Digital on
Okay.
Google, and
Yeah,
then you can find me there.
I'll be like throwing it up on the screen or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have an Instagram, but I don't really post on it anymore because I'm kind of trying to get customers on it. Like, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just post up. I can like send you my logo or something and plug
Yeah,
it in.
yeah, that's sick. And for anybody watching this, you know, hit up Victor. He's a great guy. We're looking forward to more conversations like this, Victor.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, for the audience, you know, the community here is, you know, about sharing value, spreading value, and also providing support because, like we said earlier, entrepreneurship is, you know, kind of lonely by nature just because of its unorthodox, you know, curriculum and all that stuff. But, you know, the idea here is to bring like minds together and provide support and to grow and flourish. So thank you guys for watching and thank you, Victor, for your time again. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.